We're going to come back out. There's the Bay Point. We're going to go over here to Hilton Head. There's Dolphin Head, going to come down Skull Creek here and around. And here we go. There is Jenkins Road, right through the woods. Here is Hilton Head RV Resort. Here's Sea Monkeys, Turner's Marina, and, well, son of a gun, kiss my rear. It says Island Head right there. There's the marina. There's the restaurant, but it says Island Head. Interesting, don't you think? Number 7, we've been asking if Low Country Ferry and or Neil Turner, are you purposefully trying to get the Sunset Grill to sell out, to close, to go bankrupt? Are you purposefully trying to do the same thing with Hilton Head RV Resort? You know, to shutter, the POA go bankrupt, sell everything off? I mean, we talked to you last week about court cases that Turner either has taken people to court or been taken to court. And it looks like he's got first right of refusal if he does all these things correct anytime somebody wants to sell a lot in the RV resort. That's not the point. Other than, did you do that to try to get them to so you own it all? I mean, I'm just asking. We've been pondering whether all of these businesses in which the names Neil Turner and his associates come up all the time, are they allegedly trying to run like a mafia style kingdom over water sports and water transportation by, to be totally honest with you, eliminating competition at all costs? Because that's not what Mike Covert thinks, even though I do. That's what people on Hilton Head think. That's what people on Defusky think. That's what people who don't even live here have been writing into the show saying, this is a mafioso style takeover, a Gestapo cut and run to own the island. Is that what you're trying to do? We found that Turner has told just a little fib about the Drifter being part of his fleet. We told that to you last week. And that's not allegedly. We know it's true because the owner of the Drifter told me personally that no, the Drifter is not part of his fleet, and the Drifter and he have nothing to do with Turner. Told me that personally. Number 8, think about this now. If Turner was to be able to get the Hilton Head RV Resort to sell off, I don't know, was it 200 lots? 200 RV spots. Got that to sell off. He owned it all. 7 acres, 8 acres. The restaurant to close. He's already trying to get them not to be able to use the bathroom or park anywhere there. Shit, the only thing left to do is close. He would or could own 100% of the water access there. Yeah, there's a county dock or a fishing pier, which I went down there and was asked to buy this and that or rent this or that. I'm not going to go into that, but that's called running a business off a county piece of property. By the way, Neil, I told him no. The young man who asked me, nah, I'm just walking around. Anyway, 7 or 8 acres of RV spots would be fan-freaking-tastic parking for his ferry business. And since he's on the northern side of the waterway, his marina would be the fastest route to Bay Point, aside from Skull Creek. But they're not running ferry service out of there. But so Turner's Marina would be the opportune place to take a ferry, jet down Skull Creek over to the Port Royal Sound, and boom, you're at Bay Point. Wow. He's already going to Defusky. Take a right or a left instead of a right down to the Intercoastal Waterway, and poof, you're there. This would make the circle close. Do you see where we're drawing we're not drawing, we're tying the knot on this? And if someone can refute this, my God, please step up to the mic. Number 9, add this to your thoughts. If Turner was able to put the squeeze on hard enough to Dufusky businesses for them to close, he could hold the entire ability for anyone to do any business anywhere outside of Hake Point on that island. He could hold in the palm of his hands. Is this why every single business I've talked to has said they, figure out who they is, are making it harder and harder and more difficult to get items, to get supplies, to get things to sell called product, parts, people to Dufusky, unless you pay the piper. If Turner doesn't want to shut down all Dufusky businesses and doesn't want to harm those that live there, then why, Neil and Low Country Ferry, why are you doing what you're doing? Because you're choking them off. You know, I guess the biggest business over there, I don't know this for a fact, I'm just guessing, at least in size, would probably be the distillery. I know their sales are down because nobody can get anything over there without paying exorbitant prices like $25 to ship a bag of freaking chicken seed. God help us. What are you having to pay for rye and all the barley and the malt? Lord have mercy. Number 10. Six Senses is already advertising this entire thing, folks. Yet nothing has been permitted or allowed, but they say F you, and they go ahead anyway. Why is Whitestone and Red Rock allegedly not being completely truthful with the Dufusky Island community as to what their real intentions and desires are and who's involved? Well, how do you know that? Thank you for asking. Let's put up this first item. This is from the Six Senses website, sixsenses.com. Six Senses, South Carolina Islands will offer guests, residents, and hosts a vibrant coastal community in harmony with its environment. Well. Let's take a looky here. Here it talks about an eco-conscious resort, spa, and residential community going to be coming to the South Carolina shores, including Hilton Head Island, Dufusky Island, and Bay Point Island. Well, really? The hotel management agreement recently signed by Timothy Pitcher of Whitestone, along with Red Rock Portfolio and Six Senses XO, Neil Jacobs, and CDO Omar Romero, opening in 2026, spanning multiple coastal locations. Here it talks about Hilton Head Island and the good points about that. Here's about Dufusky Island. It's going to be a 460-acre Six Senses South Carolina, vis-a-vis also known as Melrose Plantation, guest rooms and private suites, as well as cottages. Again, Melrose. Water sports, sailing, fishing, adventures continue. That would be where Neil Turner and Turner Marina and Sea Monkeys and the rest, Island Head, all come into play. Scroll down to Bay Point Island. Wait a minute. They really put it on about Bay Point. What does it talk about with Bay Point? Whitestone is involved, just like at Melrose. They're going to have its Southern Island Coastal inspired modular Category 5 hurricane resistant biophilic and self-contained branded residential villas of Bay Point Island Wait a minute. That's not what the county said. A limited number will be available for sale in 2024. How are you doing that? A few years in the making, we're delighted and excited to be partnering with Whitestone and Red Rock in the creation of 2 special connected communities. They're connected communities. Okay, how do you get to the communities? Here's where Low Country Ferry enters the game. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This party isn't over yet. Let's open up Ethos, theethos.co. Six Senses' new South Carolina resort project to rewild guests with hybrid yachts, biophilic design, and nature-inspired spa treatments. I don't know where this picture came from, but this is definitely not Bay Point nor Daufuskie. A little misinterpreted misadvertising. From February 2024, Six Senses will expand and be completed by 2026, a luxury destination in South Carolina. Hilton Head, Daufuskie, and Bay Point Island, it says. And it goes on to pretty much say the same thing that we read on the other page. And here you have a picture. This is of Daufuskie Island. What else do we have to show that's of any interest? Well, gosh, I'm glad you asked. Let's go to the Luxury Travel Advisor. March 2024, Six Senses coming to South Carolina in 2026. Oh my God, they're the same pictures used. They signed a hotel management agreement with Whitestone and Red Rock. They're going to open an eco-conscious resort spa and residential community on the shores, Hilton Head, Daufuskie, and Bay Point. 2026, multiple locations. Going to be just a short distance from Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. Amazing. Daufuskie will be a home to the Six Senses Spa. Yoga, meditation, mindfulness, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's, super, super duper. That's going to be at Melrose. Number 11. Why doesn't County Council see this? I mean, honestly, I know 2 of them know about this, but do the rest of them know about this? And if you don't, why not? Thank goodness many of them are watching right now, so they're learning about it. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're hearing this now. To the Island Packet in Beaufort Gazette, why aren't you reporting this? The wheels are in motion, but the policies, practices, and procedures have not been done properly. How about new county administrator Michael Moore? Somebody send him this and let him know he needs to step in and go, time out, people. Number 12. Why is Neil Turner, allegedly violating ADA compliance laws? Why are you doing that? You have a golden goose, so to speak. So I don't think it's on purpose. Rather, it's got to be ignorance. You see, Turner has never really had a proper ferry with all of the things a real ferry must have. If you look at everything, he's had pictures of other people's boats. He didn't even own a vessel when he got the contract. He had to go get it out of Florida, and it really didn't work. And then something broke down here or there, and they had to borrow somebody else, and God forbid there was no heat or no air or whatever, and the life jackets were all on the second floor, and it's just been a fustercluck since day one. And the guy has never had what he's really needed to have. We showed you the contract where he circled he's never been involved in any litigation based on marina and ferry operations. And then we showed you the court history, obviously refuting that fact to a T. Hence, we know that the vessels he showed pictures of belonged to Hake Point. They weren't even his. And now he's telling people, well, I've got this vessel and this vessel, the Vagabond and the Drifter. The Drifter's owners told me personally, no, he doesn't, and we don't have nothing to do with him. The Vagabond, I was told today, not by the owner, but by an outside source, that they too have said, no, Neil Turner has nothing to do with the Vagabond, so we're pushing on that one. So why, Neil, why are you adding the possibility, the inclination of the possibility of alleged ADA, federal ADA compliance violations? What am I talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked, because you remember a couple of shows ago, we told you the story of an elderly lady who could not get on the ferry. Not because her wheelchair was too big, but because the ferry did not accommodate her. Wait a minute. I know what you're saying. Well, we have wide, berths or doors or whatever, and she's just too big. No. That's not what ADA says. That's not what ADA says at all. You have to provide for the consumer. You have to when it comes to ADA. It's not that her wheelchair was too wide, it's that your ramps are non-existent and your door widths are too small. The ferry also did not accommodate a young lady we talked to who had to spend 3 months or so in temporary housing on Hilton Head Island after a leg surgery because they couldn't accommodate her to get home. This is vile, and this is inhumane. Number 13. Only because Turner has told one of my confidants, that he was involved. This is what my informant has told me, allegedly, that Turner said he was involved allegedly, and I'm going to bring up the fact that RV owners can no longer live full-time in the RVs in the county. Again, according to an informant, Turner is telling people that he brought it up and this is why it's changed. That is not true. However, yes, in 2022, a text amendment to an existing ordinance was passed, quote unquote, because of trouble on Defusky, end quote, as I was told by a former county insider and employee, that the text agreement was brought forth about adding shipping containers to the existing code. Excuse me. This was met with a very small amount of hiccups, actually. Mainly the hiccup was York Glover, county councilman from St. Helena Island, who wanted to make sure, in his own words, and I implore you to go back and watch the October, November, and December 2022 county council meetings, and you can see this for yourself, where they were taking the 3 readings and the 3 votes to get it passed. In his words, his agriculture folks, he wanted to make sure that his agriculture folks were exempt from this. He had said because they use storage or shipping containers for farming, different things on farming and so forth. He was told they were exempt from this. He was told that. Then someone added RV to section 5.3.20. Something is definitely amiss here, and this is where I can tell you this was added because all of a sudden we're talking about 2% difference in assessed taxes, which really means a shit ton more of money based on 4% to 6%, because that's not a 2% difference. That's a big difference, but that's money in the county's pocket. In November 2022, Councilmember Logan Cunningham stated, "I am glad this doesn't involve those with wheels, or we would have another situation." Well, it did involve wheels or RVs. this was passed, and these folks who were living in an RV, and we're speaking specifically to those in the Hilton Head RV Resort. Yes, it applies actually anywhere in the county, even Daufuskie, even St. Helena Agriculture. Those folks who were paying 4% property taxes now have to pay 6% property taxes because it's a second home, according to the county. It is against the code to live in an RV full-time in Beaufort County. And Glover was, I'm going to use the word lied to, because the ordinance clearly says, and this is section, record this, 5.3.20, quote, within all zones. You can't have it, shipping containers, RVs, and the like, within all zones. The use of any shipping container or the like, travel trailer or recreational vehicle, RV, as a primary or accessory structure shall be prohibited in all zoning districts. We got another arm of this thing. York, you just got screwed, brother. RVers, you got screwed. How do you fix this? I've been thinking about this because I don't think a lot of people know about it. But it is code. I mean, it was passed. Was it passed wrong? Like somebody slipped it in? Hell yeah. I know how they do this. Yeah, it was slipped in. It wasn't what Logan Cunningham thought. It wasn't what York Glover thought. But too bad, so sad, boys. It's there now. So how do you fix this? If you want to have this fixed, someone on county council has got to go before the county administrator and tell him that you want a text amendment drafted to change 5.3.20 Part C as in Charlie to either remove it or remove the word RVs. The county administrator will probably tell you to go to the committee chair. In this case, I believe it would be Alice Howard, and tell her you want to have a draft, you want a text amendment drafted to eliminate blah, blah, blah. If Alice Howard tells you absolutely not, whoever you are, you need to tell Alice Howard, let me remind you, sweetheart poodle, that you are not a dictator. You are a servant like I am. And if you don't get this in our committee, I'm just going to have to step over your little head and make this public. Now, how are we going to do it? I mean, that's how you got to be with these people, because they're not looking out for you. They're not looking out for you or you or you. They're looking out for them. So I want to wrap this subject up tonight and put a big bow on it. And here we go. 6 senses, and is either with or without the alleged input from Whitestone and Red Rock, even though we just showed you where they're like this, have put 4 yurts on Bay Point Island. They have built some infrastructure. We showed you pictures. All without permitting and zoning approval that we can find in Beaufort County. So, do you want something to be pissed off about if you're looking for that? If ADA compliance doesn't get your last nerve, if that's not enough, all of the conservationists out there, listen up. Apparently the people in Thailand of 6 senses don't give a damn about Beaufort County zoning and permitting laws, as they're moving right along with Bay Point Island and plan to start selling lots now to be open in 2026. And you know, the more I think about it, it's probably not the folks in Thailand. They probably don't give 2 shits, just start making me money. I think the focus needs to be put on those here locally. The Whitestones, the Red Rocks, the Low Country Ferries, the blah, 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 blah. Okay? The Island Heads, the so forth. And this is by their own social media. All these things that we are hypotheticals. It's by their own social media that we brought this to you. I mean, it's on their own website. Bingo. Merry Christmas. I mean, how much more can you have done? This is what's going on behind closed doors and behind the scenes that you don't know about. Now, we have reached out to Neil Turner. We have done 3 times to invite him on the show, but have not heard a peep out of him. I've been out there on the site thinking I'd run into him. I ran into a couple of goons out there who think they're security guards. They're doing a job, but not him. We haven't heard a peep out of him. Neil, if you're watching, if you want to bring your Tom Taylor, your attorney, I mean, bring your dad if you have to. I mean, whatever. Bring your wife. I don't care. This is a public interest show. And if you want to tell your side of the story, hey, I want to hear it. And the several hundred people that are watching right now and the several hundred more that'll watch later on tonight and tomorrow until next week, they want to hear it too. Well, I'd love to hear your side of the story. If you're looking for added publicity, Neil, let me tell you something, brother. You'll get it here. You will get it here. So I'd be more than happy to oblige you. I reached out personally to a young lady by the name of Karen Cole of the group that owns Six Senses. It's known as IHG, which I think is the same people who own Holiday Inn Express. Anyway, I got a hold of her, or her, I guess her doorkeeper. Got an email, sent her an email, and said, any information about renting of yurts, buying property, buying a lot, how can I travel to the island? Since you're advertising it, I want to know more. But I haven't heard back there from her yet either. So, hey, come on, folks. We've got nothing to hide. If you've got nothing to hide, then why are you hiding? Why are you all hiding from me? Don't hide from me. Let's tell the story. Just got to tell the story. It's pretty simple, and people want to hear it.
Locked and loaded. Let's go. Patriot Radio. News, country pop, and classic rock.